Gus Plays Chess on YouTube.
What happens when a 900 rated player on chess.com gets the opportunity to play a 75-minute each classical rated friendly game in person over the board? Well, we'll find out, but long story short, they lose, but it's a good game, and I hoped... Can I look in the camera? I had hoped that's very odd. I had hoped that at least I would last more than 5 moves, more than 10 moves. I didn't want to get caught out in the opening. I didn't want to hang a piece. But what I found is that when you're playing for 75 minutes, or when you've got that much time, you don't make the blunders that you do in a 10-minute game or 3-minute game. You've got time to think through each move, and it was a very close game. My opponent was quite strong. It was a man, yeah. All right, let's just get into it. I don't want it to be too long of a review, because to be honest, it's not a very interesting game. There's a few interesting bits. But let's get into it. So I started with e4. I got the white pieces, fortunately. I don't know what I would have done if I got the black pieces, but we don't need to know. So I got e4, and he went for the King's Indian. Well, modern defense. It's not quite King's Indian because he went e6, and I think b6 is maybe the main line. Maybe you got a knight move there, but b6 works. I'm not going to pretend I know everything about the theory, but I have looked into the game briefly, and I looked at the openings, and b6 was a funny move, but it clearly doesn't create that many weaknesses. Plus 0.8 on the review bar is like, that means nothing, especially at this level. So I'm thinking here, there are no time controls here, but I was taking my time with my moves, and I was thinking, he's not really doing much. Everything's defended. You got this protecting this. You might be looking to push this pawn forward. So the natural developing move is here to defend that pawn, which comes forward here. And of course I did that. And then he develops his knight, which is a good move, into this pocket. And then I'm just like, I'm just going to keep developing because he's not doing much. And I know this is good, and it was really nice to have a game where I could stick to principles and not get punished for it, because I feel like sometimes you can face openings that have like non-trivial defenses. So one that comes to mind is like a wayward queen attack. Like if you just stuck to principle chess, sure, yeah, you might be fine, but I feel like with some openings you can be like, there are tricks, right? So this one I knew there weren't any tricks. I was like, I can calculate everything. He's not just going to whip out some sort of pin to my king, and I've not seen it, and I lose a knight or something like that. So I was quite happy with that. And I've seen this before. This is normal chess. So I've really gone for the big white center, and he's gone for the 2 sneaky bishops, and looking to be a good game. So I castle, natural move. He pushes his pawn. Very solid, but he's saying, I want this. I want this box, and I can have this box. So I've got more space, but I don't know. What does that mean? +8 on the evaluation bar, which means nothing. Okay, this is the first inaccurate move. I would have thought about this move for a while. I didn't spot this move. Obviously his only options are, he's got quite a few options. I think I maybe guessed he was going to do that and then create some weaknesses there or something. I think I was way in my head, but I was like, yeah, let's give it a check. And when you speed it up, it's like, why do you give that check? But in my head, I was doing something and it didn't lead to anything. But not losing or anything. So he blocks it with the knight. It gets basically free development. And I move my rook there. So it's like, what's the point of that? Then he kicks my bishop, and I'm like, well, I've got to commit now. And the best moves here are these two to come all the way back, and I wasn't going to do that. I wasn't going to come back after going out, so I took the knight, and that was like not a good move because I've lost my bishop that was developed, and it's just gone. It's taken a knight which wasn't developed, and he's got his queen developed. So lots of no-nos there. And I would like to say like, oh, it doesn't make a big difference, but it's gone from +8 to -0.6, which is, you know, that's like a pawn and a half, 2 pawns worth. So, you know, not great for me there. What I would do differently in this position, I mean, just slower developing moves. This one, I think, I don't know, maybe one of these, maybe that. Just a slow move because he's not doing anything. I don't think you can push any of these pawns at this point. Okay, it's not rubbish, but yeah, no, you don't want to be pushing either of those, and I don't think that's an option. Yeah, so it's not dreadful, but it wasn't great. And then here, yeah, like a regular move. What did I do? Rook e1, that was fine. And then here, yeah, go back. And I didn't want to go back. I was like, I'm not going to move this bishop back, so I just moved it forward. And I was probably a bit annoyed at this point. I was like, come on. So I was like, all right, let's strike the center. And it turned out that it wasn't a bad move at all. It was a fine move. If takes, I'm gonna have to look at the evaluation bar here. If takes, oh gosh, I don't know. If takes, it's literally just fine. Nothing really changes. Moving on. Okay, so just pointing out, he hasn't made a bad move yet. All of the evaluation keeps on squishing the white one down, and the black one is getting like higher, or it's negative, so it's getting lower. So he's made no structural mistakes. He's not made any weaknesses. It started at +1 for me because it's a King's Indian setup, and it's just kind of like whatever, and then it just keeps getting lower and lower and lower, and that's the theme of this game. He does make one miss later on, but he's just playing really solid, and he finds this move, h6, and I'm like, like when I was reviewing it, I was like, how on earth have you found this move? If I think about the logic behind it, like, it might prevent the bishop from coming. It doesn't even, yeah, it does prevent the bishop from coming in there. Maybe the rook can come forward. Maybe it means the pawn can push forward. Yeah, fair enough. Okay, he played it. Good for him. What do I do here? I take the pawn. Not great move, not rubbish move. It gets things happening. Things happen. So now he's got open file here, but I've lost one of my center pawns. That's probably got a name for it, but that's the game we play. Queen forward, get my queen out. I was considering this one, but then I was worried about getting my knight trapped, and I wanted it to be able to come out, and also I wanted to defend this pawn because if takes, then this pawn was under attack. So, and also I wanted to defend this knight because I didn't want to damage this pawn structure. So I think that was a logical move. I wanted d4 just to block off the thing, or e2. I wonder what happens after this. Can you not just take that? No, because d4... I didn't spot that. So d4 you can do a double attack, and he has to go back to d7 and I get the rook. Well, I'm not computer, I didn't see that one. But that's quite cool. It's good to know. 2 castles, and like, okay, and at this point in the game I'm like, like, we've got quite far in the game, you know. Pieces have been moved. He's like a little bit nervous. I'm a little bit nervous. I've taken like lots of time. Like, everyone's really quiet in the room, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm actually at a chess event, and I'm actually playing chess, which is really fun. And I'm fully developed now. You know, got my rooks in the middle, and I'm like, okay, principal chess tick. Now what happens? Of course, he does a very quiet waiting move. Eval has gone all the way back to 0. I should probably stop talking about that. I should just probably focus on the positions of the pieces, but it's useful watching this thing bounce up and down. Maybe not by a little bit though. This move, I thought, yeah, okay, fine. You're getting rid of the defender of the knight, but I was like, I don't want this bishop taking there and doing that. Obviously, the queen could take, but if the queen ever moved, and also the main reason was if the knight did ever want to come out to there, which now that I think about it, you don't really want to put it there, but at least it's this knight is pinned to the pawn, because if that knight ever moves, the pawn will get taken. So I was like, let's move that. And the better move, I mean, again, d4 really wants to cut off, because this bishop was a strong bishop. It just was. And you know, by doing this, I think it forces a trade. I think you don't have to take it by any means, but it weakens that bishop a bit. Anyway, so not a great move. Of course, he did play h5 earlier, and now he's played h6. Now he's played g5. So that was his plan. So good for him. Strong player. What can I say? Yeah. Never move your knights backwards. Or maybe I should be less critical of myself, but there was only one right move here. I just realised you guys can't see the evaluation bar. I've just been staring at this whole time. There was only one right move here, and that was not the evaluation bar. I mean, like you know, there's 3 different possibilities. The top 3 next engine moves. I like looking at them, and I'm looking at it, and it says -6, -1.3, -1.3. So there's only one good move, and that's d4. I don't play it. So I go back. Not a terrible move, but it's not good. He doesn't capitalize on it. The idea is to move forward with your pieces. G6. Okay. Maybe I should go into less detail. So we're just moving pieces around, right? Now here. I knew I had to go c4 because it definitely pins these 2 pawns. This is a double attack, so that defender doesn't work. And I knew it, and I spent ages at this moment in the game, and I was like, what to do? And I don't know what I was thinking. I was scared of this and takes. I was scared of this and this, but obviously that would lose the king. And you can go here, I believe, and fork the 2 knights anyway. So c4 was the right move there. It was the only good move there, and I didn't find it. Now this, I will show you, presents a really fun queen trap. So the queen is trapped. My queen is trapped here. So it goes rook takes. If I take back, knight e5, it's that one, threatening the queen. Queen can't go here, for these are the obvious reasons. Yeah. So it can't go here. If it goes to these 2 squares, then the knight goes here. So let's just go here. Knight goes here, going a check and discovered attack. And the only other one, so we've covered. Obviously, can't take these pawns either. So we covered here. And then if it goes here, very similarly, sort of similarly, you get 4. So actually, he missed it. But yeah, sack the rook. Anyway, moving on. How much of this game is left? Maybe I'm taking too long with this. Oh well. Who cares? So I rotate the knights. At this point, I'm like, I might be losing. I'm not really creating anything, but at least I'm holding on. And he goes double sacking the rooks. I put my knight back in the center, and the knight goes to attack the queen. I just put it back. He doesn't really know what he's doing with that knight, so I put it forward. And I'm like, we're just shuffling our pieces around. We're just moving. They're very tactical. You know, I'm at least lasting a while. He goes here. I have to take, and in fact, it's the only good move. I have to take, and then here, best move is to take the queen. Move forward with my knight. That's natural move, and then take the bishop. So trading everything off, and I'm in this end game. I'm in a drawing end game, realistically. And to be honest, excuse me, I can't be bothered to go through and review the end game because I just found it. I think at this point I was tired. I didn't have this mental stamina. I'm making excuses for myself. I should probably just practice my end games. But it was drawing at some point. That was one of the bad moves. It allowed him to do that. And this was the worst move because it allowed this, but he didn't play it. But effectively, you can't can't do anything. But from here, I'm just losing. And actually, the worst move of the game, and I didn't realise I was so losing at this point. I mean, we had the same amount of pawns: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And 2 rooks. And I was like, I didn't have confidence in myself. He looks pretty assured, and I was like, oh, I better defend this pawn. And I was like, and then he took the pawn, and I was like, cool. And I think for some reason when he took the pawn, it wasn't like a heart sinking moment. In my head, I think I'd already conceded, but I don't know what it was about this position that I was just like, I think it was this pawn coming past. I was like, and this pawn had no defenders, which was all because of this move. Pushing here allowed it to go past. And at this point of the game, I think I was like, I didn't have much time, to be fair. I had 10 minutes left. I only had 10 minutes left, and I was like, I'm not running out of time in this game. But the irony is, because I rushed it, I actually lost anyway. Anyway, so the game carried on a little bit longer. He took the pawn, and then he ended up taking some more pawns. I was just playing just in case he might have made a mistake, but it wasn't the politest thing to do. But we moved. I was playing, and I was like, there was some counterplay on the right there. It wasn't obvious, but as soon as you start moving the king round, there's no move I can do here. King can't go there. Going back and forth won't do anything. I can't take any of these pawns. If he comes around here, he's going to end up getting through this gap and taking that pawn, and the pawns are going to promote. I mean, there are 2 things, and then there's an idea of going there, but the pawns are just going to get there and queen. I was just like, it's been such a long game. He still had 30-40 minutes left, and I had like 7, like I said. I was just like, I resign. I said, I resign, and I shook his hand, and he kind of let a sigh of relief, and he said, that was a close one. And I was like, yeah, it was a close one. But of course, I didn't tell him it was my first time. I didn't say, I'm a newbie, you should win. I turned up, and I put my shoulders back and I crossed my arms, and I was like, no. There was a lot of this. There was a lot of this at the table, just yeah. But I'm happy, and I was picturing like, am I going to be sad if I lose this? But I was like, I'll be very happy if I win it. But we move. He was quite strong. It says 1600 there. I think that is the ECF, English Chess Federation rating. I'm gonna guess that's probably about 1600 on chess.com. Maybe it's a bit higher, maybe it's a bit lower, but that's not the point. Plus, how many times do you ever play like a 75-minute each game? But it went quick. I wasn't bored. I needed a wee afterwards, but I wasn't bored. Cool. Just been speaking to the camera for 18 minutes. Alright, see you in the next video.